What's up guys, welcome back to another video of Talking Tiki Taka Global. And if you have been following me in my previous channel, so welcome to the new one. And if you are new to this channel, I already have an existing channel where I speak in Bangla, and this is for all my global teammates that have gathered up in my Facebook page, which is over 79,000 teammates as of right now. If you're not there, I highly encourage you to go there and join the team. So in this video, I will be basically talking about the Club World Cup. Now, as you can see, I have Barcelona in the background, and this channel is about Barcelona. So if I say anything negative about the Club World Cup, it will eventually come down to people saying that, okay, you guys haven't qualified, so why you are talking big and you are finding flaws in this tournament, which is in many ways there is a very clear division. It polarizes people. There are pros and cons, and in this video basically I'll be giving a very quick and very direct kind of prediction, because come on, we all know that this tournament is eventually going down to few of the clubs that we know are going to mainly compete for this. There are going to be a few surprises, maybe a few upsets along the way, but for me it's a very clear conclusion, and you do not need to complicate things much. So without further ado, let's get straight into the prediction, and after that I'll be talking about some of the pros and cons. In both sides there are logics, there are arguments to be have, and I just want to provide a clear picture for you to decide that whether Club World Cup is a good thing, is it a bad thing, should it be continuing, and which side you want to reside in. So let's talk about it. So first of all, I think there are pretty much three clubs in contention that I think are going to go to the final lap of this race, and it's Bayern Munich, PSG, and Real Madrid. It's pretty straightforward. I have done the simulation. I have done group-wise simulation. That is pretty much out there in the website of FIFA as well. You can do that by your own. And in that scenario, the interesting part is it's a semi-final between PSG and Real Madrid as far as my simulation was concerned. So there is one another team, which is basically Bayern Munich, that goes to the final in my simulation, and the other semi-final is between PSG and Real Madrid. So without doing the simulation, the most obvious choices that you would probably have is it's a PSG Real Madrid final, and I think that how it should have been. But if it's a semi-final between PSG and Real Madrid, then the other team is Bayern Munich. So in the final, it's Bayern Munich versus either PSG or Real Madrid. So in my understanding, I think Real Madrid is going to have an edge over PSG. And why do I think that? Let me clarify. So it has been a long season, a pretty long and extremely successful season for PSG. They have won literally everything there is to win in this season, in Spain, in France, and in Europe. So some of you might say that they would be more motivated to win everything, to do a clean sweep. If I'm not wrong, 4 or 5 of their players represented Portugal in the Nations League. So they're in a rich vein of success. Their main front runners have won pretty much everything that there is to win, both club-wise and internationally. So the argument can come in that yes, they would be going all guns ho for the final trophy, and this is where I pretty much disagree to a very large extent, because I think if you follow the quote from De Bruyne, if I'm not wrong, it's probably in the last Nation League season. They were in the semi-final or the final, I forgot, but he said that it's not worth it. After a long, tiring season playing another kind of pseudo-friendly tournament, it's not just worth it, and we are not pumped. It might just be his personal opinion, but there are a lot of professional footballers out there who feel the same way. Because as we have seen this season, that European football has absolutely reached a level where it has become extremely demanding, to say the very least. And these players have been working overtime as it is. And on top of that, you are bringing the same group of players to compete with the same team representing the same badge, and you expect them to have the same amount of motivation while they have won literally everything. I do not think that's going to be the case. On the other hand, if you look at Real Madrid, the entire scene changes drastically. It's a group of players and management that is going through an overhaul of speak. The veterans have left, the new bloods are coming in. The new big signing Mbappe had a very good season, but he has much to prove, and there are reinforcement and cavalry coming in. And most of all, they have a new manager who is being very hyped up. So the players, the managers, the coaching staff, and the whole club in itself will be out there to put up a show, for the fans that have been disappointed across the season, throughout the season. And they would be looking forward to getting that reaction from the team as well. And they would also be very highly anticipating what kind of football Xavi Alonso brings to Real Madrid, which I will talk about in a separate video very soon. So in my understanding of how things can turn out, I think it's a clear choice and a decision that I think Real Madrid is going to beat PSG in the semi-final because of that edge, because of that extra bit of motivation and drive and fresh legs maybe even. So in the final, PSG being pretty much the team to beat, I think Real Madrid will also beat Bayern Munich. So the simple and short prediction is Real Madrid is going to win the Club World Cup in my prediction. Now let's come to the pros and cons, and which I think is more important part of this video. So look, I personally am not going to say which side I'm on. I'm going to give you the pros and the cons, and then I'll let you decide. So in terms of the pros, the first pro that pretty much comes to your mind is that it's a tournament that is made for the smaller clubs. So continent-wise, different location-wise, these are some of the clubs that finally has, or let's say going to get the spotlight. For example, a club like Al Ahly, which was founded in 1907. It's a African heritage club. It's pretty big. They have won almost everything domestically. So for a club like that to finally get some spotlight, it's a huge deal, and it's a huge kind of exposure to get some brand deals, to get some players scouted, and maybe do even some business. So it's a very good opportunity for these clubs to finally come under the spotlight. And the same goes for the players as well. There are players in some of the lesser clubs, some of the lesser known clubs, who have not found the stage nor the opportunity to actually showcase their talents. And now they would finally have that. So for the big European clubs and the scouts, this would be a very good opportunity to find some new fresh talents in different parts of the region of the world. So these are the main two pros, and one another you can add to it that the seasonal fans who don't really follow club football that much usually look forward to this season gaps, June, July, August kind of period, and they do follow football in that period of time. So it's a opportunity to sort of expose your clubs, even the big ones, to the fans, to the group of fans who doesn't follow club football that much. And since the FIFA tag is there, they might be interested to actually have a look at it and how things go. This is no Champions League, make no mistake. This is nowhere near the caliber or the hype or the lucrativeness of Champions League, but still, if it's a new niche that you are trying to reach out to, then I think it's a good opportunity. So these, I think, are the major pros related to the Club World Cup. Now let's talk about the cons. I think primarily there are two major cons in this. The first one being, I think the players deserve a break. Yes, they do get paid very highly, very handsomely, and like any other job, you need break from your jobs. So in this context, all of us who have a day job to go back to, it is extremely cumbersome, it is extremely taxing, and it requires a great deal of mental resolve to, let's say, keep on going about your work without getting a proper break. And this season break is literally their vacation time. And all the clubs involved, especially the European elites, PSG, Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, they have had a very long season. They have had the longest season in their history of football, maybe the most number of matches, if I'm not wrong. So in keeping this in mind, it is not always healthy to overwork your players when they are already pretty much overworked throughout the season, and expecting them to fight for yet another trophy during preseason. That's one, because eventually they have to go back to. And the second biggest con that I think does not concern the clubs, but rather the national teams. So for example, I'm a Brazil fan, and from a Brazilian fan perspective, I have a new manager in my dugout, Carlo Ancelotti. So he didn't get enough time with the Brazil national team, and he doesn't have enough time for this Brazil team to, let's say, get into full swing. What we have seen in the second match is a much better reflection than the first match, and from a fan perspective, you would actually demand and hope that this manager gets as much as time as possible with this bunch of kids and this new group of players that he's handling. So from international football perspective, uh, a major national team gets this preseason only as their testing ground, and this is the only time when national teams can get together and sort of have a proper training session, proper gelling session, proper getting together, getting the philosophies through, the ideas through, and just in general binding the team together. There are no other windows in football where in the national teams can actually come together and have that kind of session where everyone pretty much gets into the thick of things. So keeping these two things primarily in mind, I think are very huge cons, and it affects not just the players, not just the clubs, it also affects the national teams, it also affects the seasonal fans who looks forward to national tournaments being taken place in during this July August window. And I think there will be a loss of viewership if you compare it with the Euros, the Copa Americas, and uh, Intercontinental, if you want to count it in. So these are the pros and cons. Now it is up to you. It is entirely your decision, your choice to make whatever narrative fits your understanding and your preferences. But I think these are basically the two sides of the Club World Cup. So I have given my prediction and my facts in front of you. Now it's literally for you to decide which side of Club World Cup you are on. I'll be a Barca fan. I'll just watch and enjoy the games and talk about the games with all of you throughout this tournament. So do stay tuned in all my channels, in all my handles. And till then, and as always, Visca el Barça.